Have what, sir? There's only about 4 or 5. There's 4 or 5, and then there's 3 for executive. All are Connie, except for the first one is Gary. I don't have to do any of them. Oh, yeah. Taking up for a long.
Good evening. I want to call the August 20th Columbia County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Going to ask Vice Chairman Richardson to open.
Would bow your heads, please. Lord Jesus, we come to you, and Lord, we thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed on the county. Ask you to lead us tonight as we make and all citizens. Lord, we ask you to protect the men and women that protect us, people that are seized, on first responders, police officers, all of those. Lord, we just lift them up to you and hold them in your hand. All these things I pray in your precious name.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which God is visible.
Well, let the record show we have 4 of 5 commissioners here. I believe Commissioner Galius is in some training. He'll get trained well. You have the minutes from the previous meeting of August 6th. If they meet with you, I'll accept the motion to do so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. What now?
God, there weren't enough of us. I'm sorry.
There's plenty, we got a quorum. Okay, and, let me jump right down. Well, please know that the commission meeting is recorded, posted on the web, I guess, within a day or two after the meeting. So for some unusual reason you want to watch this again, be on our website. And we just want to welcome you here. And we have, under special recognitions, we have the Employee of the Month. So Commissioner Allen, I believe you're going to get with Ms. Willis. Go through there.
Thank you. Congratulations, ma'am. Here. Else like to join us up here, or y'all going to wait until afterwards to say something? Okay. This is for you. So, Jennifer Willis is with the Clerk of Court's office. She's been there for 16 years, 6 years as the Chief Deputy Clerk, correct? Says, over the past year, Cindy Mason, our clerk, has had to have some surgery. Jennifer has stepped up gallantly and has done a great job of taking care of everything in the office during this difficult time. She made sure that the office continued to operate with exceptional service and high standards that Mrs. Mason takes pride in providing to the citizens of Columbia County. Embodies everything that the word pride represents: professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. And does an exceptional job and definitely deserves to be Employee of the Month by your nomination. Jennifer graduated from Augusta State University, May of 2003.
Go Jags.
She has a bachelor's in political science and criminal justice. Started work with the Columbia County Clerk Superior Court in 2003. Worked there, as I said, for 16 years. She's married to Brent Willis, Administrative Chief for Columbia County Fire Rescue. That's another award right there. We need. They have twins, Macy and Caleb. Caleb, who attend Greenbrier High School. Congratulations, ma'am. Well deserved. Would you like to say something?
I understand I only have 5 minutes, so I guess I
We can make an exception.
There's so many things I could say about Jennifer. I've worked with her since the time she came, and she's amazing to work with. Not only does she know her job, know it well, she's very ready to help you, share information, compassionate towards all the people that work with her. A lot of us couldn't be here physically, but we were all here in spirit to support her and let her know how much we love her, care about her, and appreciate everything she does for us on a daily basis. Amazing. Thank you.
And would you like to say something after the photo? Sure, you don't want to talk? Yeah, say something about Brent.
I'm going to have to close the meeting if you're going to do that. But we have another very special award. Todd Edwards with the ACCG is here, all the way from Atlanta to award to somebody that's very special to Columbia County, Representative Barry Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'm Todd Edwards. I'm the Deputy Legislative Director with the Association County Commissioners of Georgia. I have somewhat of a cold, so forgive my voice. Each year, ACCG awards what we call our Legislative Service Award. There's about 4 or 5, but I'm proud to be here tonight to represent or to provide the 2019 Legislative Service Award to Representative Barry Fleming. Barry Fleming has worked closely with the counties for many years. This year in particular, he worked tirelessly over the past couple of years, I might add, to replace Georgia's outdated voting. It started a few years ago. Legislation was unsuccessful. Following the 2018 session, he helped put together the SAFE Commission. Not only included county input from throughout the process, but also on that commission, there were 4 local election officials that provided input, the expertise, if you will, to make sure we get this right. It became a very political process throughout the legislative session. Barry stayed true to the recommendations, worked with us. Our input was welcomed throughout the way. In addition to that, and to getting the legislation ultimately passed, he also made sure that there was $150 million in the state's budget to help us along the way. Now, no doubt this will be a bumpy ride. There's a lot of training, a lot of uncertainties going forward. It's a major endeavor for the state of Georgia. On the political end, on the legislative front, Barry got it done, and that's who you turn to up there when you need the tough work to get done, is Representative Barry Fleming. In addition to that, he helped us work on legislation when our friends, the constitutional officers, wanted a pay raise. They ultimately got it, but we delayed it by a year to make sure your county budgets had time to impact the fiscal implications of the legislation. He helped create the business court for the state of Georgia, and on top of that, worked to get state funding in that regard, so it didn't all fall on the counties. And many bad preemption bills, which happened to make it through the Senate this year. We could count on Barry Fleming, both in his role as chairman of the Judiciary Committee and on the House Rules Committee, to either stop them or to amend them and get our compromise language in. I could go on and on. I won't. I can tell you Barry has been a great friend up there at the legislature of local governments. House has worked with us, and Barry is a large part of that. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Representative Fleming, and I'm going to go get the award right here. ACC 2019 Legislative Service Award. Put this down. It is the Putnam County Courthouse. No worries, because he's already received the Columbia County Courthouse. That was my first choice.
And just a word for Barry. I know that you did carry that the voting legislation. I know you took a lot of shots. Even the opponent, the opponents ran radio ads attacking Barry. It was brutal, but you stood the test and stood the fire, and we appreciate that because it was a great outcome. And I know we had the ruling last week from the judge that we can move forward. So I just want to give you a personal round of applause and thank you.
Now, where did you sit up here?
Come on.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate ACCG coming down and bringing this award to me. I want to say to you that I know you as a Board of Commissioners spend county taxpayer dollars to support the Association of County Commissioners in Atlanta. That is a great use, well spent. In Atlanta, there's no way I can know what's all across the state. try to balance the needs you have to face, just like you do at a county level. ACCG always there for us, gather and provide information that we desperately need, trying to make decisions that affect the whole state. Clint Mueller, head of the legislative office that Todd works for, as well as other people they have there, are excellent. That one example that Todd gave for you about their work with us on the voting machines that will be in all the counties at Georgia. The opposition worked so hard, and their proposal probably would have cost the taxpayers of Columbia County a few $1 million. Not done it the way we do, mostly because of their organization, ability to bring good argument to taxpayers that we do. I too could give you several other examples of how well they work for us. So I'll say to you, every time y'all have an opportunity, and I know you do, support their efforts at the Capitol on your behalf, it's time well spent. So thank you so much for letting me come here tonight. It's an honor to represent folks of Columbia County. I was thinking when I walked in here, Mr. Chairman, that it's almost 20 years ago that I sat in your seat. I think Connie was in elementary school back then.
Why do you look so much younger than me? Folks?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was great training for me, but all of my fellow legislators don't get that at the local level, and that's where these folks come in and are so valuable. So thank you for letting me come tonight, and thanks to ACCG.
I'm getting in the picture.
Yes, sir, I will.
Hold that camera.
Cameras juggling. Wanna?
How do you want to do this, Mr. Chairman?
You should hold it, or else it looks like I'm stealing it.
All right, you want me to hold it? All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Congratulations.
Commissioners, you now have the consent agenda before you. Each of these items has gone before committee and received the necessary votes to be put on the consent agenda. So if they still meet with your approval, I'll accept the motion to do so.
So moved.
Any changes or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. On to unfinished business. As the, okay,
Make a motion to approve the second reading of Resolution 19-25, amending the fee schedule rental contract.
Second.
Doctor, you want to explain that real quickly?
Mr. Kennedy.
Kennedy, excuse me, sorry.
Okay. This is an addendum to the Evanstown Center Park rental contract. It outlines new policies and fees that are associated with staking stakes in the park. If approved, it's a $250 non-refundable staking fee, which would apply, and that's to cover the time and labor coordinating the staking itself. Staff recommends.
I do think this is a great move because we're trying to limit the number of sprinkler pipes that get busted by stakes. So save the county money in the long run. Any other questions? Favor, raise your right hand. Carries.
Yes, I make a motion to deny the request for a major PUD revision, tax map 078116L, subject to the project could be limited to no more than 14 apartments on the second story only, no ground floor residential units to be allowed.
Second?
I'll second for matters of discussion.
Okay, is the representative party here?
Doing great, thank you. Yeah, my name is Peter Slavovsky. I'm an architect and involved with this master plan in development. presented to the Planning Commission, which approved the project. It's a mixed-use design. I believe it may be the first attempt here in Columbia County to do a pedestrian walkway bordered by two, I'd almost say little strip shopping centers, but mixed use being apartments on the second level. As stated, about 12 to 14 apartments are being envisioned. These are just some conceptual renderings that were presented, not necessarily the final design that comes next. But at this stage, we're just looking for a revision to the PUD to allow the apartments, and number two, to allow an ingress-egress point directly from Evans to Lock Road, and then some minor things associated with the current that are described in the narrative of the document.
You went through the process with the Planning Commission, but can you kind of bring us, and we have the information, but can we get your version of what we can expect of the units?
Okay. Yeah, the first level, this is technically termed a small mall facility, a retail mall. The name mall implies something big. It's not big. We're talking about 28,000 square feet. 2 stories, something that has an architecture that will connect with the existing architecture of the Trade Center. As stated, a little bit less than 2 acres would be developed. The parking, actually all the elements, all the technical elements have been reviewed with the planning department, the engineering department. When I say retail mall, we are looking at shops, possibly some businesses such as E.G. Edwards or that nature. There will be one office building on the site as well as a maintenance facility and a restaurant. We worked hard to gain approval of the church that is nearby. That is one of the requirements that if alcohol is served, that a special permission be granted by the church, and they have done that through their lawyer. So it's a place of gathering, a place-making type of endeavor. It's intended to be very aesthetic and draw people to that part of the county, and something that will work well with the Trade Center as well.
Our rent, do you size of the apartment were 100 to?
That's a good question. The apartments will be small, efficiency type flats, as well as 1 bedroom. There's a market for that. As I indicated, only 12 to 14 units. So there will be 24/7 occupancy of this place in the mixed use that is intended. Rent, I would say, talked about $15, $17 a square foot, so 600 square foot apartment, 800 square feet, yeah, math and that with that, but certainly commensurate with what some of the goings are in the area.
Do we have any guarantee on the mix of retail versus professional? I know what the market is for retail right now. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Kind of guarantee
There's
there will
some
be.
retail on the site now, and the hope is to get enough of a mix to maintain the flow of traffic. I mean, that's the idea, is get people interested in a pedestrian mall, go to the restaurant. We've talked about one restaurant on one end of this little mall, possibly a second one on the other end, so there's a possibility. We've already spoken to 2 organizations about that. One expressed some interest. But yeah, with the mixed-use nature of this, that will prompt other types of uses to become interested in this place. That's the concept.
I guess my question is there any guarantee of what the blend will be, a minimum
Mix.
blend of the mix? Or as
At this
retail,
point, we've
is there a
not
guarantee at
gone-
least 30% or something?
Yeah, and that's a valid question. That's the next step in the process, is to go out to the market and make it happen. We have spoken with the planners that we will work very closely with them. I think that's one of the big steps, is developing a market. The words were spoken that we want Amazon-proof type merchants, if you know what I mean. So much of purchasing today, as you probably observe, is done through the internet
Personal
and so
experience.
on. And that's part of a social challenge, if you will.
All the units are on the second floor, correct?
The apartment units are on the second floor only, yes.
Guess your question, around, in his narrative, he does state 30% office, flex office, and
That's,
is
okay, so
what he does
it's
state in here.
30-60 retail professional.
Yeah.
The
Not guaranteed, but that's kind of the aim, if you will.
Okay. I guess my only concern with that is if times get tough, we just come up with another interesting looking office complex. And I know that's not your hope or your intent.
Yeah, yeah.
Wanted to know if there was any safeguard against that.
Questions, comments?
It appears that the buildings are going to be beautiful, and it's exciting to see something attractive going on that corner. The citizens of District 1, the residents right around there, are vocally and vehemently opposed to apartments of any kind, but especially efficiency apartments. And so it's going to be tough to explain to the neighbors, bringing in apartments. How do you respond to that when neighbors, have your neighbors questioned it at all, or have you spoken to
We
them?
have had no comments of that nature in the Planning Commission. And we have had no comments along the way as this has developed over the last few months. Any neighbors? Of course, we're somewhat in a partial industrial zone, partial office zone. Nearest neighborhoods are more than a stone's throw away. So it's a little bit surprising. And I think part of it is maybe the lack of knowledge of a mixed-use place. This is not an apartment complex by any means. 14 units is almost incidental. I've done other apartments with 220 units, so
Different, that's right.
it's different. And the intent here is to bring life into this place with just special amenities, with some special lighting, benches, a fountain. I mean, a lot of things that are attractive, but having that more than 8-hour-a-day experience and having some residents living there, maybe mom and pop, some that will run a shop downstairs, is the intent of creating some nice life in that location.
Questions or? Motion on the floor to deny. All in favor of denying the zoning, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? Is there a substitute motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the concept as outlined in the, make sure I'm phrasing it correctly, make sure. To approve the request for major PUD revision tax map 078116L, subject to the project, limited to no more than 14 apartments on the second story only, and no ground floor residential units shall be allowed.
Second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? Motion carries 3-1.
Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the request for a variance for section 90-133 parking to permit a gravel parking lot for employees at a tax map 061A029B with the condition that within 6 months of the date of approval by the Board of Commissioners, the applicant shall provide a site plan for paid parking for review and approval by the Columbia County Plan Review and construct said paid parking on the subject property.
Second.
This is a request to allow the temporary use of a gravel parking lot. Wild Wing opened off of Bluegrass Trail out beside the Kroger at I-20. Very successful business. They need excess parking. They do not want their customers and employees parking on gravel, so we want to pave it. I believe we've actually already received plans. Plans are actually already in-house for that paved parking. So this just allows them to use that temporary parking while they build the permanent parking.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
I make a motion to approve the request of section 09-98 list of lot and structure requirements, 90-139 buffers and screening, and 90-147H5 use provisions to reduce building setbacks and buffers for tax map 069001P, subject to the revised conditions enumerated in the August 1st, 2019 Planning Commission report. The reduced setback and buffers shall only be permitted if the property is developed according to the site plan as presented by the applicant.
Second.
This is a warehouse out off John Deere Parkway. In order to make the site work, they needed some buffer reductions, and they needed to have retaining walls, which are permanent structures, inside the front setback, so this would allow that. Again, it is only applicable if they develop the site as presented. If they change it, we'll have to come back and try again.
Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand.
I make a motion to award the bid for materials for Clary Cut Road water line to Ferguson in the amount of $186,064.09. Let me say that again, $186,064.09.
Doing those dollar figures.
That was all.
Problem.
It's a problem.
Second.
This is material for the recently approved Clary Cut water line, so this will get staff on the ground, start digging land water line.
Any other discussion? Go ahead.
Is there a reason we did skip committee on this? Is there an urgency here that we just
Yeah,
didn't?
Commission told us to make this a priority project. This is a 5th week this month, so this would push it out another month if we don't bring it to y'all tonight, so we were trying to get ahead of that.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Carries. Legal matters. Driver?
No legal matters tonight.
Request for review by committee. You'll want to know what that is.
I'll let you know.
Barry might.
Yeah, Barry can tell me. Public comments? Russell, anything? Executive session, the 2 items, what's your pleasure?
I had the pleasure of a chair. We can take these matters in the public forum.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
I make a motion to approve $22,700 to Ashley N. Shank, parcel 69, to obtain right-of-way, easement, and/or property for the Flowing Wells Waterline Project.
Second.
I'd ask you how many there are, but now you've started to put it on here and highlight the points, so 117 of 191 parcels. All in favor, raise your right hand.
One out of it.
I know it does. Carries.
I make a motion to approve $285,328 to AU Medical Center to obtain right-of-way, easement, and/or property for the Gateway Boulevard Extension Project.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. I don't think there's anything left on these agendas, so got another motion to make.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Turn.
Jennifer, you truly are a great employee. You didn't have to stay through all that, you know. You could have just taken it and gone.
That is true.